Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again. We get another deck tech. Looking forward to the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. The more I see of this set, the more I'm getting excited. And we're going back to one of the gods today. We covered the white god last week. Today we're covering the green god. And it's Ojer Kaslem, Deepest Growth. 3 in double green for 6/5 with trample. That's pretty good stats to start with. But the ability's really fun. Whenever Ojer Kaslem deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature card and or a land card from among them onto the battlefield and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay then. Then obviously when it dies, transforms into the land. When you've got 10 permanents in play, you get to do it at sorcery speed and transform it back into Kaslem. I decided to go down a different route with this. Well, no, it's not a different route. People are going to be looking at this going, I want to put creatures in play. That's fine. No issue with that at all. But what I tried to do was really concentrate on the land and the creatures and not do too much of my usual, let's have a heavy ramp, let's do this. So, here we go. This is the deck today. Because I've included quite a few of the new cards from the set in here, I have done it on Goldfish, so thank you Goldfish for letting me do this. But here we go. So Ojer's here, obviously, and then I went really heavy on the elves because, as you can see, I've tried to minimise my usual ramp. You know, I have got the Tantalite, the Talisman, the Soul Ring, and the Arcane Signet, and the Medallion. That's it. That's all I've done for the ramp. We've got the Growing Rights. I suppose you can count that as a bit of a ramp if you want to eventually. The Growing Rights Vimnotech, you know, comes into play as an enchantment, and then we've got 4 more creatures that flips over to a Gaze Cradle. But I really went heavy on the creatures because you want to be hitting the creatures, and we're playing 39 lands in the deck. So, you know, hopefully when we hit with Ojer, we'll be turning over a good creature and a good land. So the lands are pretty straightforward. We've got the Elf package. We've got Arbor, Mystic, Feyenoord, Lanoir, followed up by Druid of the Cow, Frontier Guide to go and find a basic land. There is a reason I'm playing Frontier Guide, which probably seems like a strange choice for some of you. Gala's Greetus, get some treasure tokens. Incubation Druid, Sylvian Carotid, just so we can get some continuous ramp that's hard to deal with because of the hexproof. Tangle Florodride is another land we're playing, so it's a nice little double face card. Arwen's here from Lord of the Rings. For each other creature you control that enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it equal to Arwen's toughness. And obviously it's an elf deck, so we've got ways of pumping the elf toughness up coming up shortly. Circle of the Druid's Dreams is here, another way of getting a nice load of mana. Elvish Archdruid, so there's one way to pump the toughness of Arwen. Farhaven Elf goes and finds us a basic land, and we put it onto the library tapped. Again, I'm coming to the reason why I'm playing all these strange, well, unusual creature search cards. Imperious Perfect pumps our elves up, gives them all +1/+1. Another way of making Arwen a little bit tougher. I am playing Nissa Resurgent Amonist. It seems like a reasonable plan to do in here. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an elf or an elemental card. I don't think we've got that many elementals. We've got a lot of elves. That will help. So hopefully landfall triggering a couple of times. And Nissa in her Planeswalker Origins phase as well. Go and find a forest. As soon as we get 7 lands in play, we get to flip it into Nissa Sage Animus, which helps us out a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Rex Sage to control any other ones in enchantments and artifacts that are annoying us. Salvaya Heart of the Wilds is here. Again, still a bit pricey, but if controller made, if you've got enters the battlefield, if its controller made draw a card, if its power is greater than each other creature, then you get to add all the mana. So a whole load of green mana coming in here. Spring Bloom Druid goes and finds us a couple of basic lands, like does Yavimar Elder. I am coming to reason why we're doing all the basic land search, I promise. Beast Whisperer, draw some cards, we cast the creatures. Humongous Raptor is one of the new cards coming across from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. 5/3 for, 4 mana. Has Ward 2, which makes it a bit hard to deal with. And at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you get to add some green mana. 2 green mana. So the next turn, you're going to be upping your mana count. Even if you only don't have another land in play and you've managed to cast this, you're going to be having 6 mana available, depending how you've done it. Immaculate Magistrate is here to chuck some +1/+1 campers around. It's really here because once we get all the elves in play, hopefully we're going to be able to chuck the +1/+1 counters on Ojer over here. just so we can make them even more tramply and then really do reveal some cards. That's why that's here. Moving back down to Ivy Lane Denzian, all green creatures come in with a +1/+1 counter on them. Nice. Nylea, the god of the hunt, gives everything trample, and then we get to spend some of our mana to do the +2/+2 thing. Oracle of Muldai. Play an additional land, play with the top card of your library reveal, play a land off the top if it's a land. And Root Path Purifier. Now, I'm going to hold my hands up on this one. I didn't even know this card existed. It wasn't until someone played it against me in a game we were playing online, on the stream the other night, that I realised it was here. I went and grabbed one. And it's really nice. It does make all the lands we control in our library basics, which includes something that makes this deck very expensive. Now, you can get rid of this card. You don't need to play it. I'm playing it because I'll be doing this online more than often than not. I don't own one in real life, but I have got a Gaze Cradle in this deck because you do want it in here for the extra mana ramp. But it does mean that with this in play, Gaze Cradle and some of the other lands we'll get to in a minute are basic land types. Therefore, they can be searched out by some of our things that go and search out basic lands that I've been talking about, like the Eldar, Spring Bloom Druid, etc. Solemn Simulacrum. Obviously, it only works if this is in play. But yeah, we're playing 23 forests. You're always going to be able to find basic lands with the rest of them anyway. Solemn Sim I've mentioned, and here we go. Overworld Oddity is here. This is just a nice one we can get into play and hopefully get it transformed as soon as we can play it with the amount of mana we'll be generating. Voice of Many lets us draw cards for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. So hopefully you'll have more creatures in play than anyone else and you get to do a little bit of card draw off this. Wild Wanderer, just to go and fetch out the basic lands, assuming we have the Purifier in play. Wildwood Channeler gives us to add X mana of any one colour in your mana pool, where X is the number of elves in play. Baru, Fist of Crozer. Whenever a forest comes to play, green creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until the end of turn, which is quite nice. Gladriel does the whole +1/+1 counter on another target creature when she attacks or enters the battlefield, or food token or a treasure token. And then for some reason, Sinian Calamity didn't work when I was looking at this, so grabbed a quick screenshot, and Sinian Calamity is a new one of the commander cards coming in the dinosaur deck that's coming out with Lost Caverns of Ixalan. 3 and 2 green for a 5/5 with Myriad. So whenever it attacks each opponent other than a defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of it. La-di-da-da. This is quite nice because whenever this deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. If you've got Nylea in play and this has got trample, it's going to be a real pain for your opponents to keep some of their maybe ramp stuff around or some of their key enchantments around. So quite like it. Anyway, Vorinclex is here. I couldn't see the point of not playing Vorinclex. We were playing a green ramp deck at the end of the day. Getting this out for 5 mana and then getting it flipped over shouldn't be particularly hard, especially we can mill some cards. Nod to the old Ixalan where we had Carnage Tyrant. It's coming back in this set as a guest appearance card, or whatever they're calling it, if I remember correctly. But anyway, the Carnage Tyrant is appearing, so we had to have it in here. Gruff Triplets, because it's just stupidly good from the Wilds Veil Drain set. I really enjoyed it. Vigor. You're playing a green ramp deck. You're going to be attacking with a lot of green creatures. You might as well prevent the damage and make them bigger. With Nylea and the trample, this gets out of hand very quickly. This is usually a card that gets exiled pretty much as soon as you play it or destroyed. But, you know, if it goes to your graveyard, it just goes back into your library. It's all good. Just hope it doesn't get exiled. Bear it in mind. Nyx Bloom Ancient makes an appearance to make our mana ramp even better. Old Gnawbones, we get some treasures. We can cast some of the stuff we're looking at. Craterhoof, Craterhoof Behemoth, Endrays Frontrunners give us a way of winning the game. Golter, the new version of Golter, comes in as well from the new Ixalan set. Just so it enters the battlefield, we can put all those creature cards that we've got on our hand into play for free, which would be quite cool. Kamal, Heart of Crows, that gives a way of giving all our creatures +3/+3 and trample, which makes, you know, +3/+3 turns this into a 9/8. So we should get through, get a few creatures and cards. Oh, excuse me. Polyraptor, just so we get small tokens in play. Obviously, even if it takes 5 damage, it then dies, but it's taking 5 damage, you get a copy of it, so it keeps replacing itself. So it's quite nice, especially if people start pinging it for some reason, which happened to me the other day. But yeah, that's it. And Apex Devastator, another card you can drop out if you want to save some of the money. I mean, deck's running at $1,200 at the moment. I believe if you drop out, I don't know, Apex, Polyraptor maybe, and Golter, we'll see. See what happens. But Apex Devastator on MTGO, if you want to cut down the 50 ticket thing, you can drop it out for 16.5 tickets, so save yourself some money. As I said, very limited ramp. Tantalite, Talisman, Soul Ring, Signet, and the Emerald Medallion. I am playing Elixir of Immortality just in case everything gets Wrath to God away and we need to shuffle it back into our library. Skullspawn Nexus is a new one from the new set coming out. Spell costs X to cast, where X is the greatest power amongst creatures you control. So it's going to cost you 2 green mana a lot of the time. Yay. And whenever one or more non-token creatures you control die, get a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness equal to the total power of those creatures. So if you lose 3 creatures and they total up a 14 power, you'll get 14/14. If each creature dies individually, you'll get whatever their power was as a dinosaur token. So yeah. Yes, it gives you a bit of defense, but it just leaves you 1 creature for anything that gets Damnation, Wrath of God. But, see what happens. It's still worth playing. The Great Henge makes an appearance because I just like the card and I've just realised something. Hold on a second. Just move myself across so you can see the cards I'm talking about instead of my head being in the way. The Great Henge is here. Spell costs X less. You all know what this does. Great card. 2 enchantments. Growing Rights of Imhotep, as I said earlier, the cheaper version of Gaia's Cradle. And Jurgen defends the temple, which, there you go. Get a monk token that you can plus tap to add some green mana, put some +1/+1 counters around, and eventually it gets transformed with a bit of luck. And then you get the Dragon Spirit. And as long as you control 5 or more modified creatures, it gets +5/+5 and has trample. With the amount of +1/+1 counters you're kicking around, you should have 5 mana modified creatures fairly quickly with this deck. So I think it's worth playing it out, and I haven't played it for a while, so you can drop it if you don't want to. I am being unusual for me. There's no sorceries. Usually if you see one of my green decks, you'll see Genesis Wave kicking around somewhere. I resisted the temptation this time, so bear that in mind. As for the lands, I mentioned 23 Forests. I've already mentioned Gaia's Cradle, which you can drop out if you want to save quite a lot of money if you're building this in real life. But we do need to do some of the things that we try to do elsewhere with this. So we've got the Arch in, just so we can draw some cards. The Sanctum's here. There you go. Just so we can get a 2/2 if we need to. I did think about playing the other half of Titania, Voice of Gaia. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. And it's just another green land. I mean, this is one you can drop out. I have played around, thought about the deck a little bit, and you can take the there you go, Sanctum out if you want to. Occasionally you will need to generate the bear tokens, but milling the cards, as long as you've got your immortality in play, is fine, but just bear it in mind. Broker's Hideout, Keberetti Courtyard, go and search your out forest. Castle Garenbrig helps you get some more green mana to cast your bigger green spells. The desert is here to cycle. Draneth Ruins makes an appearance because we do have a lot of non-human creatures in the deck, so you can easily pay the 2 mana, tap this, and chuck a couple of +1/+1 counters on something that entered that turn. Really nice little combo, obviously, with Ojer. Going from there, Fertile Thicket, so you can find a basic land, that's fine. The forest I've talked about, Gaia's Cradle I've mentioned, drop it if you don't have one in real life. If you've got one on MTGO, well and good, go for it. It's going up a little bit, it's ticking up again to 12 tickets, but I still think it's worth picking one up on MTGO. Gingerbread Cabins here, just so we can get a food token from the original set of Eldraine. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, monocoloured deck, no brainer. Reliquary Tower, Temple of the False God, you always see them in my decks, I know. The Hunter Maze, just another way of drawing card if we need to. The Shire gives us some food tokens so we can stay alive again if we need to. And Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, turns some of our other things into forest as well. But that's it. That is my little take on Ojer for today. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think I should have included that I've missed out. Sitting at 269 subscribers on YouTube at the moment, so if you can help me out and hit the subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll be back very soon with yet another video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.